Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Saddle Up Shooting. I'm Dave Strohmeyer, your host. I hope I have a good one for you today. And the reason for this video is because I'm testing some ammo that is outside the norm for the 6.5 Creedmoor. Now, I get a lot of comments, really vitriol, if you will, about this 6.5 Creedmoor. Love it, hate it, inadequate, adequate, not enough, too much. Boy, it seems that everybody and their brother has an opinion. But what you can't hide is the fact that the 6.5 Creedmoor is a good rifle within, and a good caliber within its parameters. It's up to you to know those parameters. So today we're going to kind of stretch those parameters by going with lightweight bullets. 100 grain ELDm, 100 grain ELDVT, and 120 grain ELDm. And I've got the charts and figures here to go ahead and show you, and you can do with it as you will. Alright, target set up at 100 yards. Let me go turn on the camera on down there, get set up. Let's get to shooting. Okay folks, people realize, or if you watch my channel, that I desire speed. Speed trumps everything as far as I'm concerned, if there's acceptable accuracy. Acceptable accuracy to me is 1 inch at 100 yards, because I know my limitations. My limitations are out to 400 yards, maybe a little bit further. But speed helps that trajectory and keeps it flat so that I don't have to be doing any mathematical calculations. I can basically just hold on hair and let loose. Now the 6.5 Creedmoor is designed for the 140 to 147 class bullets. Today I'm shooting 2 100 grain bullets and 1 120 grain bullet to demonstrate the speed, the accuracy, and then from these ballistic tables that I've got written up here to take a look at what that speed does in terms of energy on target at specific distances. And I'll show those to you out to 400 yards. So the first one up here is the 100 grain ELDm. Now I understand that's a match bullet, not a hunting bullet, but varmints don't care. You know, lighter bullets are for varmints. It's not for necessarily deer size game, and definitely not for elk or something like that. So the ELDm's 100 grain bullet with a BC of .385 traveling at a speed of 3249 feet per second. So let's see how it does. Target on the right, 3 shots. All right, here we go. Now these should hit pretty close to the bullseye, because I have shot these in this rifle before, but that's been a while ago. So let's see what it does now. I'd say that's acceptable accuracy. Now remember, that's 3,249 feet per second. Out to 400 yards, I'm only dropping 21.2 inches with 100 yard zero, and it's delivering on target at 400 yards, 1,245 foot-pounds of energy. What's wrong with that? Okay, so let's switch over now to the next which is the 100 grain ELD-VT. Alright, these next 3 shots will be with Hornady's new ELD-VT. Now so far they've shot really well in everything that I've tried them in, with the exception of the 6.5 Grendel. But these are traveling at 3,320 feet per second with a ballistic coefficient of 0.448. So even though it's a 100 grain bullet with that high ballistic coefficient, it's designed to go out there and go long distance. Now the drop on this at 400 yards is 19.2 inches, assuming a 100 yard zero. Now compare that to the ELDm at 21.2 inches. So, you know, it's got 2 inches less drop at 400 yards. Does that make a difference to a hunter? Probably not. To a varmint hunter? Yeah, it does. The wind differential, if you want to know that, because I don't trust that, wind between here and the target is a variable type of situation, so you just have to put it into the ballistic calculator, and I used a 5 mile-an-hour wind today. So wind drift at 400 yards for the 100 grain ELDm is 5.6 and 4.6 for the ELD-VT. But let's see how they shoot. That's what you're here for. Same target. I marked that other one down there. Let's see if these things hit almost the exact same point of impact. Wouldn't that be interesting? All right, folks, I don't know why there's Creedmoor haters. Look at that. I mean, a different bullet, different construction, same bullet weight, going a little bit faster, almost 90 feet per second faster, and pretty close to the same point of aim. All right, let's see if it repeats, because that's what we're after, is repeatability. All right, almost dead on, a little bit to the right over the other one. Same hole as that second shot. Alright, so start cussing the 6.5 Creedmoor. I won't help you. Alright, reset up, mark that target. Now we're going to go to the 120 grain ELDM. Be right back. Okay, now we're going with a 120 grain ELDM. Slower speed, 3,010 feet per second, but a higher ballistic coefficient of 0.486. At 400 yards, this drops 23.8 inches, so compare that to the ELD-VT, that's almost 4 inches difference at 400 yards. But the energy is 1,464 foot-pounds at 400 yards. Alright, so we're going to see if there's a point of impact change. Now think about this now. This is 10% lower speed is all, but a 20% increase in the weight of the bullet. How about that? Alright, let's see how they do. Same target. Let's see if it's the same point of impact. Hope I don't mess that up for you, but we'll see. Okay, that went off to the left, didn't it? All right. A little bit of point of impact shift, but 20% heavier bullet. Let's see if it groups. Huh. Love this rifle. And the ammo. All right, folks. Now go ahead and badmouth the 6.5 Creedmoor. Now I've got myself a long-range varmint shooter, high BC, good energy, really accurate. What's not to like? All right, so let's get back to the barn, and I want to go through these ballistic tables that I have for you, that I just read for you, so that you can see for yourself instead of me just telling you. All right, be right back. All right, here's the target. I think you all saw that. Point of impact was within an inch of each other with all of the bullets, but each individual grouped pretty well. So that's what I'm after. Okay, so let's go over this chart I was talking about from fastest to slowest. Here's the ELD-VT. Again, 0.448 ballistic coefficient, 3,320 feet per second at 400 yards, 19.2 inch drop, 4.6 wind drift, still traveling at a speed of 2541 and providing an energy of 1433. That's good enough for deer if this was a hunting bullet. All right, then 100 grain ELDm. Some people claim this is a hunting bullet. 3249 as opposed to 3320. 0.385 ballistic coefficient as opposed to 0.448. All right, at 400 yards, I'm dropping 21 inches, 5.6 in wind drift, but still have 1,245 of energy. So compare that to the VT with the same grain bullet. You can see that the VT would be really good for varmints. All right, then the last one over here, which would be the 120 grain ELDm. 120 grain bullet, 3,010 feet per second, 0.486 ballistic coefficient. So that's the highest ballistic coefficient of all the bullets shot today. At 400 yards, I've got a 23.8 inch drop, 4.7 in wind drift, 1464. So interesting here. VT, 1433 energy, 1464 energy. 19.2 drop, 23.8. Wind drift 4.6, 4.7, and speed 2541, 2344. So you can see, folks, this is just the versatility of the 6.5 Creedmoor. Go ahead and test it out for yourself. If you're a hand loader, I think you probably need to hand load to get this kind of results. But I think Hornady does sell a 95 grain bullet for the 6.5. Give it a shot. So if you enjoyed this video, folks, give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. Leave a comment if you will, and check your subscriptions, please. But no matter what, as always, may God bless you all. See you again next time. Goodbye.